So today I'm joined by Laura Prada, who suffered an unimaginable event, and now she's actually here talking about it and taking power from that day, which is absolutely inspirational. So welcome to the series, Laura.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you for having me.
No problem at all. So I suppose then, just for like the purpose of people watching this, it'd be nice just to kind of just briefly go back to the event so they kind of have an understanding of how you've got to where you are now.
So talk about what happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was studying at Liverpool John Moores University and I was doing my film studies degree, and I was out celebrating for my friend's 21st birthday. And it got to about 2 a.m. and I decided to walk home. There was a lot of reasons for that. There was a 30-minute wait for a taxi versus a 15-minute walk home. My friends, I didn't want to like end their night because I was going quite early, really. For like, you know what I mean? On night out, 2 a.m. it finishes quite soon. So I decided to walk. And as I left the city centre of Liverpool, I didn't realise that someone was following me. Wow. So he followed me for about a mile until I got to my accommodation, literally across the road from it, and that's when he attacked me. So I was like walking, and then like I looked over my shoulder, I could see like a hooded figure, and I thought that it was a person from my accommodation just like out having a fag or something. And then he like bumped into me, and I thought I'd bumped into him, like it was a bit icy on the floor and stuff. And then I realised he was attacking me, like grabbed my shoulders, took me to the ground. And then when I was on the ground, he was stood towering over me. And he said, "Give me money."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah, take it, take whatever you want, like it's fine." And then he took my bag and he tossed it to the side. And I was just so confused at this point because I was like, "You've asked for my money, take it, go, leave me."
Of course, yeah.
And then he stepped over me, grabbed my shoulders and my hair, and he started dragging me. And there was some like nearby bushes that he dragged me into. And I remember at that point I said to him, I was like, "Are you okay?" Because you've got an individual in front of you, you don't know what we're capable of at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And I was just trying to kind of bring him back to himself in a way, do you know what I mean? He's not the act that he's trying to commit, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And then he didn't respond to that. And he just like pushed me into the bushes, and that's when I was raped. He forced himself upon me. No terminology is right for it. It's what happened, do you know what I mean? But it's crazy. Like, you can't describe it.
No, completely.
Can't describe being in that situation. I personally didn't think I was going to make it out of that situation. I thought he had a weapon on him. I thought he was going to leave me for dead. And I literally, in that moment, I was saying goodbye to myself, to my family, and like appreciating the life that I'd had. And all I do know, like getting away from that, is the person that I was before that, she kind of is gone in a way now. Like I have changed so much since it happened, like a completely new outlook on life, some in good ways, some in bad ways. It's crazy. And it's not easy to talk about, but at the same time, I'm used to talking about it now.
Exactly, and that's just like what you've gone through, which is kind of like so unimaginable. Like, you know, it's, and for you to kind of just come out and actually be so open about it. You know, you've had stuff, you know, in the news recently and things. You did that YouTube podcast as well, and just to kind of for you to have that power now to, you know, to liberate yourself from that day by talking about it is just amazing. But I feel like, you know, now you're at this place, obviously at this moment in time, but the initial emotions after it, or the lack of emotions after it, because it's such a tragic event, you know, just kind of just talk a bit through that. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I decided that, like you said, I wanted to talk about my story because when something like this happens, victims are definitely encouraged to kind of keep it private. And they don't mean to do that, but it's a very personal thing that's happened to you.
Yeah.
Sexual assault is not easy to comprehend. And I understand entirely why people might want to keep it to themselves. But for me, I felt like it was a big burden keeping it to myself. Like I told a handful of people, like people close to me, and then I was still like going to work and like acting normal and like finishing my degree. And that was not normal to me because it's like I was ignoring it.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember you said to me like, you're in like denial in a way on what happened. That is exactly what I resonated with. I was in a lot of denial and I wasn't okay.
Yeah.
My family could see that I wasn't okay. I just like was carrying on until it eventually like burnt me out. But I knew that I wanted to talk about it because of the perspective I've been given and how there's so many people in my situation. Like, unfortunately, I'm one story. There's so many other people that have gone through things so similar.
Let's be careful over there. I thought we were going to fall.
Honestly, I can't believe you took me that way.
I don't even know why I ended up going that way, to be honest.
I was ready to go round.
But no, so kind of like you said, you know, going about normal daily life, you know, you've had this tragic event that's happened to you, only a few people know about it. It's hard to do, isn't it? Because, you know, with me, with my dad, you know, a lot of people found out about it, but then I was still like trying to ignore it, pretend that it didn't happen, and we just still try to go about my normal life. Before, you know, in the gym all the time, you know, try to kind of
saying
sugarcoat things, and you know, obviously not facing reality. So
I remember you saying about how you'd been to the gym and like you're probably in the best physical shape you could possibly have been in. But mentally, you were not committing to that and looking after it there, but you wanted to, sort of thing.
You just go through here.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah. Just try and go through. I think it's this one here.
You got it.
I got it in the end, yeah. There we go. It's nice short arms.
Thanks.
I come through. Nice one.
But yeah, like since it's happened, I've been releasing articles. I've got a journalist who contacts me and lets me know when people are interested in my story. I did that I'd been planning that for a while. Like it wasn't until like a year after what happened to me, I decided to talk about it. And I'm really happy that I did, because I feel like a lot more people understand why I get the way I do, like what I'm going through. They're a bit more patient, and I'm not asking for any sympathy, but patience. I feel like I am asking for a bit of that, because I'm coming to terms with something that I didn't expect to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And from the articles that have been written, I feel like they're a good thing. They're out there.
Yeah.
Other victims can see that they don't have to keep quiet. You can talk about it. Yes, it's hard, and yes, there's things you might not want to like address. You don't have to address that, but you do need to know that there are other people to talk about, and like other people, to talk with you about these things, and the support systems out there, and you've got options rather than going in on yourself and feeling like so alone. It is like it's just such a crazy whirlwind of emotions, like.
Yeah, completely, and I think like by you sharing your story as well, and you know, obviously you change as a person as you do when you've gone through something so kind of catastrophic. You know, you get broken down completely and you have to rebuild yourself up, and obviously your views on the world are different, and the kind of like decisions you make will be different than beforehand and stuff. And I suppose if no one knew what you've been through, people wouldn't understand why kind of these decisions are being made. I know that you've said to me before, you know, you're a lot more kind of worried about your mates, how they get home and stuff, you know, so if they didn't know what you've been through, they'd be like, oh, how come Laura's all of a sudden really worried?
Like I was so scared for my friends, not even just my friends, like I go for long walks anyway, and that was something that was taken from me, but aimed to get that back. But I remember when I was going on these walks, I'd see people with their headphones in, and that, like, I had my headphones in. I can't even comprehend that I had my headphones in, like at that time of night, and completely unaware of my surroundings. And even though it's daytime and they've got the headphones in, I just think you're in the middle of nowhere. Anyone could like jump out at you. You think you're safe, I thought I was safe.
You kind of like losing trust in the world, aren't you? You know,
yeah.
and like not wanting to be. I don't even know. Just want to be alert all the time now. I think.
I'm so alert all the time, and in a way that's just so exhausting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every day I'm just trying to I want to get up and have a good day, and I feel like I've been given a second chance at life in a way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that before this happened, I had like a lot of anxiety that I was dealing with, and if anything, I felt like I was getting on track with it.
Yeah.
Then this happened, and the anxiety was just a completely different level.
Yeah.
It's like I was having to start all over again.
Yeah.
And that was so frustrating. And then all the emotions that go through your head when these things are happening. Like I always say to people, in my day-to-day life, my mind goes 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking of something.
I can completely relate on that.
I might stand there and be quiet and like be listening to you. I am listening,
yeah,
but
it's
I'm
not
also
there.
thinking a million other things.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking, I need to do this at this time, I need to do that at that time.
Yeah.
And it's so draining, and I was like so scared that, well, I am scared in a way that I'm never gonna find a balance and feel calmer in my day-to-day life.
Okay.
That's just what it comes with, like your mentality. Like everyone's different, everyone's got their own stuff going on, and that's just what I'm personally dealing with.
Yeah. No, completely. And it's one of them where I know you said, you know, like going 100 mile an hour and thing, and I had that quite a lot of times as well, you know, just thinking, you know, like, I don't know, just like a lot of different things going on in your head, like, what am I even doing here, you know, and things, and what's going to happen in the future, my dad's no longer here, like, what's going on, like, what could I have done in the past, and, you know, again, having these conversations with people just about anything, like, how's your day been, but my head's just kind of literally just rolling, and everything's just kind of rolling into one.
Like, even sometimes while you think you're having a good day, you have to stop and think, am I looking after myself here?
Exactly.
But then again, it's easier said than done, because when you're in that mindset and you're going so fast, it's just about training your brain to like be a bit kinder to yourself in a way. Exactly.
I think as well, and it's important because I feel like quite a lot of people will internalise emotions after they've gone through some stuff. I know I did, and plenty of people watching this would have probably internalised stuff. So an important question is, how did you feel about yourself after it? Because external event, you know, these things are all external events, and what happens is, I think when something so bad happens, and when it happened to me, like with losing my dad, I internalised a lot of emotions, so I kind of turned it all in on myself, to be honest, and started to negatively self-talk to myself. You know, this event wasn't my fault, it wasn't no one else's fault, but I really beat myself up about it. So I think, you know,
I definitely beat myself up about it, because like you said, like, you didn't cause this to happen. I thought I caused this to happen, because I thought, why the hell did I walk home at that time of night, completely oblivious to the scary people that are out there? I was like, why have I done this to myself? And I had to accept that that shouldn't have happened to me because of him. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't me being a bad person and going out and doing something like that.
Exactly.
Someone did this to me, and I had to accept that, because otherwise I'd just be beating myself up like every day, thinking you were an idiot that night, you deserve it. And I didn't deserve it.
Exactly.
I was just an innocent girl.
Yeah.
I really did think so highly of the world, and like in a way that it'd take care of me.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
it was naive. There are people out there, and I've said this before, but there are so many times you hear on the radio of like rape and sexual assault, and it is so common that it's scary. So that's why I felt like I needed to say something as well. People need to think, this could happen to me. Like, I should look out for my friends a bit, just make sure we're all getting home safe, sort of a thing. If you're a good person, you want something so simple for your friends, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And
they might see it as you nagging them, going, oh, what, you know, Lazar keeps texting me saying, have you got home and stuff, but it's not like, you know, it's completely not that, is it?
Oh, do you know what though? If people are a bit naggy like that, I don't take it personally. I'm quite lucky that I don't take something like that personally at all. I'd feel better knowing that I've done everything on my end to reassure myself that you're all right, sort of a thing. But that's another thing, you become so protective of the people around you. Like, I'm constantly paranoid that something like this would happen to someone close to me. And don't get me wrong, if something like this does happen to you, you have every ability to get past it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
I think
still
that's an
getting past
important
it.
point that you say that, because it's so true. And the fact that you've been through that event and you can say that now will inspire so many people that have either been in that situation that you've been in, or been in kind of similar situations, or just been in a bad event in general as well. And it's like you say, everyone has the ability to get through these things.
It's scary, but
yeah, we'll just jump through.
Yeah.
Jump through here. Right, cheers. Yeah, so
like it's scary to get like through it, and it's hard to. Everyone's going to take it, like if you think about it, everyone in the world is so different. Do you know what I mean? Everyone, like you might like one thing, I might like another thing. So it's the same when something bad happens. You might respond one way, I might respond completely differently. There's no normal or right way to respond to such like things that happen to you, trauma.
Yeah.
And that needs normalising, because when, do you know, like people kind of analyse you a bit afterwards. They're like, oh, she seems like she's really off today. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, she seems like she's really happy today. And that's fine, but at the same time, it's really normal to be like happy one day and sad another.
Exactly.
You're going up and down, and you just want to like be as normal as you can be. Like we are normal.
Yeah.
The situation is unfortunately normal in a way. Oh,
I think though as well, you spotted a dog in the background.
Yeah.
I think as well though, it's you know, you say these emotions, you know, you feel good some days, feel bad some days.
Yeah.
That's fine, because it's an emotion. Emotions are temporary and emotions pass.
Oh, yeah.
And it's knowing that. And I think, you know, sometimes when people are at the lowest point in their life, the negative emotions, the really awful emotions, seem like they last forever.
No, they do.
Forever.
Like,
you know.
I think a good point to make as well is that when I say I have low points, a lot of my friends think I'm really bubbly and like I'm dead chatty, and like I am. Like I enjoy socialising with my friends. I love hanging out with people. But my lows I deal with privately. I have them. So for example, like literally 2 days ago, I was in such an anxiety pit. And when I say I was in a low, it's not just like a little phase that happened. It was all day. I was crying all day, and my mum and dad were like looking after me and just making sure I was all right. And like I go in like a bit of a bubble in a way. Like I think I can't get out of it. I have some awful thoughts. Like I literally think the worst, and that's so hard to deal with because I'm going from so low to so high sometimes.
Yeah.
But like you said, it is temporary.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with so many of them before that I don't want to let my emotions get the better of me like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Got to accept them. Got to keep calm and just. That's normal. Like anxiety is normal.
Yeah, completely.
Like I always thought that I was so emotional in high school and nobody else was, and like I used to think that I was the only one feeling like this. But when I went to the doctors and they said like, oh yeah, you've got anxiety, that like cleared so much up for me that maybe I need to look after myself in a different way to someone else would. Like make that time to make sure I'm all right. And I think that's why it's so good when people enjoy their own company. I know I do. Like I say that, I've just been crying like all day on one of them, but I still enjoy my own company, which I think is really good.
No, of course. Like to be fair, like I went through a lot of stages where I hated my own company, and I hated it with a passion.
Yeah,
like, I
went through that. Yeah, it's not easy to get past you. But then at the end of the day, you're with yourself for life. Do you know what I mean? You've got to.
Thank you. That is exactly how I think now.
Like.
You've got to be your own best mate, haven't you?
You have. You've got to be like, you've got to boost yourself up. Like literally this morning when I was up, I was there. I put my we were talking about this, my Get Up and Go song on, and I was like literally dancing around my room, thinking, you know what, I'm gonna have a good day today.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm excited for today. And talk to yourself like that, like internally, like
positive
give yourself boosts and stuff like that. Like when I'm feeling anxious and I'm lucky to catch it, I'm always like, no, don't go on a big whirlwind. Yeah. Just take a few minutes. Like last night I did some like breathing exercises and I didn't care how it looked. Like I was thinking this is good for me right now, so I'm going to do it.
You know, you just kind of talk about being self-aware, aren't you? You know, noticing, you know, a bit of an anxiety, you know, patch coming up. Yeah. And I say patch because it's only a temporary emotion.
Yeah, it is.
And it's knowing how to kind of, sometimes not avoid it completely, because, you know, we are going to get the moments and it is going to kind of pass through us, but just to alleviate it a little bit and just kind of soften the blow, if you like, you know, by putting on your good songs and stuff. And I live off music. Music to me is just something that I just love, because it can just lift you up.
No, it
so
can.
much.
Like, if I'm ever like taking too long to get on with my day and like certain like little routines, I always put on a good song and go. Like, I'm just like, this is how it's going to happen. I'm going to get up. My music's going to get me excited. Can't wait for it. Can we go this way?
I think so. I'm not too sure. I think we can. Yeah, I think we can go this way. Is the gate, isn't there? Yeah. But yeah, no, again, music. But I suppose, like, what are the other things that kind of keep you going on like on a really bad day?
My dog.
Your dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. What dog?
I've got a border collie.
Oh, so that explains why you.
No, I'm not even joking. There's only been border collies here today. Oh my god, we actually can go this way. I've never been this way.
I've never been this way, I don't think.
I've only ever been that way, which is like up and round. So let's see what it takes us. Oh, I feel the sun coming out as well. It's nice.
So, yeah, what else then, kind of on like a really low day, like helps you kind of get through?
If I get up early, that's like really good for me.
Yeah.
Every day at the end of my day as well, I write a list for things that I know I need to do the next day. Sets a bit of a structure, so I'm not kind of sat in limbo. I hate thinking I've got too much time on my hands, so like something as simple as making a list for the next day, that boosts me up. Going for a walk, enjoying my day as much as I can. Food. Food, yeah. Love a bit of food.
Exactly.
I like cooking my meals and things like that, so it's silly, but like
do you know
self-help things. Do you know what I mean? Like reading a book.
Exactly.
Like planning a tattoo. I don't know.
Yeah. No. To be fair, that food aspect though, kind of cooking to me is something that I always used to turn my nose up at. You know, why would I want to do that? I just stick something in the microwave, but I really kind of like get into it now.
Stick it in the microwave.
I know. That's what I used to do. You know, at university, it was like so simple. And I think, to be fair, I think that was part of me neglecting myself a bit. You know, kind of going, I don't really care that much. I'm just going to stick some pasta on and just have that. And it was a bit of a boring meal. But now I understand that how important food is to me to feel good. Oh,
food affects my mindset so much.
Yeah, exactly. And I am kind of really strict with what I eat in the week, because I know how good it is for me.
Yeah. I try and be stricter in the week as well. Saturdays, like we can have a bit of a treat sort of thing.
Of course.
But I really like making sure I'm eating what's right. If I don't eat right, I can be guilty of being a bit mean to myself, and then that's on top of everything else I'm already dealing with.
Exactly.
But do you know what? Recently, I've spoken to my parents about it. I can't believe how long it took for me to talk to my parents about how food was affecting my mindset.
Wow.
I was upset one day, and my mum was like, right, you need to talk to me. So we were dropping my brother off in Manchester, and we were driving back, and I just said, I hate having like bad days with food.
Yeah.
I was like, it's putting me down. I'm conscious of what I eat too much. If I eat, it was after Easter this. I was like, I felt guilty for having 2 eggs. Do you know, after Easter as well. I was
just like Easter eggs or like egg
Easter
eggs?
No, it was egg eggs, but it was Easter eggs. No, honestly, and then my mum was like, you can't feel like this after you've had a bit of chocolate.
Yeah.
I was like, this is how I get, like, this is how mean I can be to myself. So I like putting rules into place there of like, just being a bit stricter, because then later down the line it's going to help me. And I'm not going to be like meaner to myself. Like, I shouldn't be mean to myself anyway.
So like, you talk about like routine and kind of like food and other things, like your dog especially as well, being, you know, reasons for kind of like moving forward and stuff. But what are kind of like the other motivational factors for, you know, for keep moving forward?
Well, I had a lot of things that would help me in the day that I didn't expect to. So I actively like went and looked for these things, because I'm still on a waiting list to have therapy. Because there was a long waiting list. But one thing was reading a lot of books helps in terms of like, there's this one called Women Don't Owe You Pretty. And it's a bit out there, but it's also very good at how it speaks on victim's perspective, as in the sense that the woman that wrote the book is a victim of sexual assault. So I remember reading it, and halfway through my boyfriend was like, why have you stopped reading? And I was like, because it's a bit overwhelming, this. And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, because she's literally wording it so well. So I understand what she's saying and where she's coming from and why she's put it like that. I get it. And I was like, I feel better knowing that somebody else gets it. Someone else is like going through these emotions. I watch Sex Education. They touched on rape in it with, well, not rape, sexual assault, sorry. With one of the characters, and that came out when I had been raped. And it was so helpful because I could just relate to how bubbly she was. And then she was so confused. And I did spend so much time confused. But until I started seeing that there are so many women fighting for this already, I then felt a bit guilty that I'd been oblivious to knowing what so many women and men go through. I can. Unfortunately, something like this had to happen for me to be like, right, I want to get on this bandwagon and help and talk. I'm one story, and people like have messaged me saying, "Oh, you're so brave," and I really appreciate that. I'm not this big beacon though of like, oh my God, this has happened to you. I know you. It's not that. It's just be aware of why I'm talking about it. Like, you can make little changes every day that make you safer. You can communicate with people more. These are topics that should not be brushed around, like beaten around the bush. Do you know what I mean? Don't be shy to bring something like this up with your supposed friends and family. Like, it's crazy how much you should. Sometimes you don't realise the support systems around you.
Exactly. Again, you know,
help.
Resonate with that so much. Resonate with that so much as well. And like kind of what you said before about not you know, being aware of everything that's gone on before the event, you know, in terms of other people campaigning for it. It's like me with mental health, like I wasn't really aware that much of how much it meant to people and stuff, and how many people actually were going through things in their life, because you know, as a kid you look through life with, well I did anyway, with like rose tinted lenses, you know, everything's nice, and all of a sudden as soon as you're exposed to trauma you realise that there's this whole world out there that, you know, you've been through that, but you're not alone in it. You're not alone in it. And like you said, there's that support network, and when you start to talk, the support network it's there anyway, but I think when you're more vocal you start to realise the support network more, because the amount of messages I've got, and I probably imagine the same with you as well, it just kind of hits home, that message that you're not going through it on your own. No,
and as well, it's nice feeling like you've done something right by speaking out. Because unfortunately, not everyone wants to tell their story, and that is absolutely fine. You go through your own process, you go at your own pace, that's absolutely fine. But for me, this felt right because I'm such an open book anyway.
Exactly.
And it was like a big secret, and I did not want to have that. I wanted people to understand.
Exactly, and it's knowing that you can talk about it as well, even if you don't for a little bit. It's just knowing that you can talk about it, which is the main thing, I believe. Definitely.
There's so many things to like look forward to. You can't let something like this like eat away at you. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have like updates with the police, and recently I had a probation interview. Well, it's not an interview. Interview. It was like a meeting. And that was a lot more brutal than I expected it to be, because that was the first time that I was hearing about my rapist leading up to the attack. So I was hearing what his circumstances were leading up to it, and I didn't know any of that before. Do you know what I mean? That was, I didn't have to know that, but I feel better knowing that. Why should I have blind spots to something that was so big in my life? Do you know what I mean? I want to understand where people are coming from, and it's weird because you've got like all these documents in terms of like what's happened, and it's weird, like and it's, you don't even know where to put it. Like, I've got it at home and I'm just like, I move it around in my room a lot. I'm like, right, should I put you there? Should I put you under my bed?
Again,
it's a weird file to have.
And it's something that I can draw similar to as well with my dad's kind of, you know, notes in terms of the inquest and things. And it's like, what do you do with them? You know, again, it was this huge folder of stuff, and it's like, that's it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know, it's like all
someone
the stuff.
you looked up to so much.
Yeah, and it's just there in a folder of like all the stuff that ended up happening, you know.
Yeah, it's weird, but they have to like write it down and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I felt better for it, and that, unfortunately, this isn't something that's just going to go away, and not in terms of mental health as well, but he got 8 years. So in 8 years, as much as I want to be like past this mentally in the point, no, not past, at a good point in myself, 8 years is a long time. But then it's kind of like a sentence for me of waiting for that to come back now. And it's scary to me thinking he'll be on the streets one day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't his first attack. I was his most severe in a way.
Okay.
Not discrediting what he's done before. But to me, it's kind of never ending in that sense. I feel like I have to wait at least 12 years before I'll be at a point where I'm kind of okay. And that's a long time. But,
it is.
But you take each day as it comes.
Exactly. Again, you know, sometimes I think if you look too far into the future, it can make you a bit, you know, anxious as well, can't it? You know, like with me finishing uni, because you know, everything that happened with my dad was like between first and second year. Yeah. So I was thinking, oh, what's going to happen in 5 years' time? But at the end of the day, it's again taking them days each as they come and stuff, and before you know it, you've kind of reached milestones. So them days turn into months, weeks even. The weeks turn into months, the months turn into years, and before you know it, you're at a point where you can look back and you go, how far have I come?
Yeah.
How far have I come? And you know, with yourself, you know.
I definitely feel like that. And even doing something like this, like us talking about it in the open, like open space even, because usually when I'm talking about it, I'm in a room, I'm in like an office room or something. Yeah. But this is just nice to understand that people are willing to have these conversations with you. And it's a sense of therapy in a way, having it. Exactly. Like it's good for you to be open about it. And it's not like I'm talking about it and I'm reliving it. Yeah. I'm talking about it and I'm making it my own and feeling better about myself.
You're owning it, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not letting it define you, and you're taking power over it. So, you know, again, it's...
Yeah, because I have so many things that I want to do, and I'm not going to not do them because of something like this and let it like eat away at me. I've got so many things now that I can look forward to. You're
absolutely inspirational, to be honest. Like, you are.
People say this and I'm just trying to get through, do you know what I mean? This is just,
no, definitely.
Like, I don't see myself as like an inspiration, I just see myself as trying to help. I
feel like, you know, you're being yourself, aren't you? And to be fair, like, don't change, because like you're absolutely amazing. Like I can big you up for like the rest of my life, but honestly, you are absolutely amazing. And to be honest, like, it's been such a pleasure to have you on. And you know, I hope that, you know, we keep in touch like in the future and stuff. And yeah, again, it's just absolutely amazing. Come here. Thank you very much.
All right. Happy to do it. Happy to help.